Okay, hello children. Yes, welcome to biologist session. We are here with health and hygiene. We are done with part 1. Here we are going to start with the part 2 today. Okay, few of the diseases and organisms, their symptoms and the preventive measures we have covered for today. We will go forward, but before that, maybe I can just revise a bit with just 2 minutes. Give me 2 minutes. Yes. Yeah. Revise a bit with what we have already studied. So, we have studied the definition of a pathogen, which is any infectious agent or an organism that causes disease is called a pathogen. Then there is a definition of disease given. Okay, that is quite a lengthy one. It is a particular state in an organism in which an organ or an organ system of the body fails to function normally. Okay, so organ or an organ system fails to function in its normal condition is a disease, identified as a disease. There is a definition as a health of a health as well. Okay, so these three definitions very important. Then we have started with this tabular form in which we study the disease, causative, pathogen. In the bracket, this time they have added up whether it is a bacteria, virus, fungus, what is it. Symptoms and the preventive measures. We are done with cholera, we are done with typhoid, influenza, poliomyelitis, chickenpox, and ringworm. So today we are going to start with malaria. Okay. Maybe I'll ask you the few questions later. Now, let us see what is there for malaria. So malaria is going to have causative pathogen as Plasmodium, which is a protozoa. Okay. Then, what are the symptoms? You are going to have severe fever with chills, and preventive measures are we are supposed to maintain community hygiene, prevent breeding of mosquitoes around our house. We know that, but still there are so many cases of malaria around, right? Yes, measles caused by rubella virus. This is a virus now. Rubella is a virus, and fever, red rashes on the neck and arms are seen, and legs as well because of measles. Preventive measure is vaccination only. Dengue, which many cases again we face here because of this something called as mosquito right now. Yeah. So it is a virus again, and it gives a lot of headache, fever, and joint pain because the fever is so very high that it enters into the bones, and then bones start paining. Okay. Community hygiene, no breeding allowed to be, no, we should not give any chance like small stagnant water should not be allowed around our house or anywhere we go where the breeding happens. Chikungunya coming again from the mosquito, coming again from this virus called as chikungunya virus. Okay, the symptoms are fever, headache, joint pain, joint swelling. We are supposed to maintain community hygiene, obviously no breeding near the house. AIDS is the virus HIV causes it. Okay, AIDS is caused by HIV virus, and in which we suffer fatigue, swollen lymph nodes. It attacks your immunity. Lymph nodes is immune system. Okay, lymphatic, and that is why any other simple cold can also kill the AIDS patient. That is how it is. It's not necessary if we are careful about not getting harmed. Then AIDS patient can live longer life as well. But then it attacks the immune system. That is what I want to tell. So obviously we are supposed to use disposable syringes so that the contamination is avoided. Sharing of the needles and further protections also to be taken. Furthermore, let us move to something called as vectors now. Apart from this pathogen, no children, there is something called as vector also, which are kind of an agent to for the diseases, for causing the diseases. So what are these vectors? Some organisms carry the pathogen, and when the organism bites a person, oh my god, bites a person, it has to be, it transmits the pathogen in the bloodstream of that person. Okay, so obviously from that particular organism, the pathogen is now into the bloodstream of the person whom it has bit. Fine. Now such organisms that carry the pathogen of a particular disease are called as vectors. But very important, these vectors will never fall themselves for the pathogen. Pathogen will never attack their host. It will only get transferred from them to the other organism. Fine. Examples, Anopheles is a vector of malaria disease. Test is the vector of sleeping sickness. And also this is very famous. Aedes mosquitoes are the vectors of dengue and chikungunya. So there are three things, vectors we are studying here. This time in this your syllabus, there is some addition of Anopheles, vector for malaria, test for the sleeping sickness, Aedes for the chikungunya and dengue. Okay, then furthermore done with this pathogen and vectors, those who are responsible for carrying the disease. Then how do they spread around? Obviously contaminated food and water. If you are going to have stale and improperly cooked food, for example typhoid, cholera, these can be caused because of drinking impure water, not filtered properly, contaminated water, physical contact, shaking of hands, sharing of clothes, touching, sexual contact with an infected person, okay, then insect and animal bite, mosquitoes, ticks, droplet infection nowadays, this COVID thing, because of which the situation is existing, right? So we are wearing the mask and all those things, supposed to be very careful. Then there are the sticks also, which are there on the dogs and monkeys, and then they bite us, okay, and transfer the disease. Then the droplet infection, obviously sneezing and coughing, because of which it can be inhaled by the other person and get infected. How are we supposed to prevent? All this government and the entire world is into this. How are we supposed to prevent? There are various controversies also, to wear the mask, not to wear the mask. But then, even if it is 1% that the mask is contributing towards your protection, I think you should do it, because stake is high. It is about your life and death. So no harm in taking precautions. WHO refers to the conditions and practices that help to maintain, sorry for the disturbance, health and prevent spread of disease. Okay, it has given several guidelines from time to time. Even for this pandemic, it has given certain guidelines how are we supposed to prevent it. Measures that can prevent diseases for you and me, for the normal people, like personal hygiene, okay, daily bath, daily cleaning, after coming outside, cleaning again with the water, soap, then washing hands after the washroom use, very very important. Some might be very lazy or lethargic or whatever your moods are, but do not go with them, take precautions. Use a handkerchief while coughing and sneezing, the most important thing nowadays. The importance of it, especially in this pandemic. Keep surrounding the clean, obviously wherever you're living. It may be your particular room, your house and all, or your garden area, your surrounding area of your house. Everything has to be clean, because you will be protected and it will not give any pathogens to grow there, chance to grow there. Use covered bins in the kitchen and public places, obviously, so that there is no incoming and outgoing of the pathogens. Use filtered and boiled water. Obviously chlorinated water we get, but then if still you feel that it is not so pure coming from the boring and other things, add chlorine or iodine so that it kills the impurities. And then obviously there has to be no sharing of the towels and handkerchief, just in case, because then if you share it with the infected person, you are the next target. Then balanced diet and exercise. Nowadays, because one feels very lonely, isolated, cut off from the outside world, then exercise or the activities, also your healthy diet is very very important. Do not lose the hold on them, okay? Then proper vaccination. This comes to our parents, those who, they should be very prompt in this, that whatever the dates are there, all the vaccinations are very important nowadays, because vaccines cover up say 90 to 95% of the, we do not get any kind of disease because of vaccines. Then for example, measles, chickenpox, nowadays there are so many, polios and tuberculosis and other vaccines are available. We are waiting for one vaccine now, right? No? And which is that? Yeah, for COVID virus. We are just waiting for that, and God knows what is going to arrive, so that we will be, a little relaxed and take the vaccine and go around for once. So there are two terms to be studied again. Vaccination, we talked about vaccine. So, but what is vaccine? Vaccine is a preparation, but then vaccination is a preparation which is going to be introduced into our body. Like vaccination is a preparation consisting of weakened or dead germs. See, there are germs, impurities, but they are in a slow, their strength is reduced, or they are actually dead. Okay, and some are living also. Why? Because when they are put in small amounts in our bloodstream, our WBC or the lymphatic system gets activated, and it immediately produces a defense elements. So these elements are stored in the body then for a permanent basis, like and whenever we come across that disease, they become activated and give a fight against that particular disease. That is how vaccination works. Fine. It can be injectable, okay, by injections or by oral. Like polio, we are taking drops, oral drops. So here are the types, just as I told. This is important, please learn this. There is a disease of rabies. For that, killed germs are used. For measles, they will be living but weakened in their strength. There is something called as toxoids. Toxoids are a separate kind of preparations which are introduced into animals. फिर उनकी बॉडी में जो WBC प्रोड्यूस होती है because of the injections of those germs, they are extracted from their body and then used in our cases. That is toxoids. Used for tetanus. Then there is one form leaving mild germs. So they are going to be living and they are not going to be so strong. Mild germs used for preventing smallpox. Okay. Nowadays smallpox is reduced. We do have rabies and measles and tetanus. So vaccination is a process by which vaccines containing weakened or dead germs are introduced into the body in order to provide immunity against a particular disease, whereas immunization is a process of developing resistance. These two definitions always every time come for differentiation. Only one parameter, define them, learn them, okay? Resistance in our body by introducing killed germs so as to stimulate the production of specific antibodies in response to disease causing germs. So for TB it is going to be different kind of antibodies being produced. For chickenpox different kind of antibodies will be produced. So it's going to be specific and they will be in inactive stage in our body. So the difference is vaccination. It is a physical action to introduce a vaccine, and immunization is a biological response it gives to the vaccine. Learn these two things, ये definition और ये difference. एक तो definition आएगा या तो ये parameter आएगा. तो what is the exact difference between vaccination? So vaccination is a physical process whereas immunization is a biological response. So for today it is going to be enough. I hope you have got the thing, okay, and solve the test, Google test link and the assignment. Notes I will upload. Start completing whatever you have understood. Start writing section 2 notes and solve the text section 1 in the textbook itself till whatever you have learned. Okay, then till next session, all of you take care and be in good health. Hope to see you in online session soon so that I can give you certain instructions. Fine then. Bye bye for now. Okay, not getting stopped.